Now, the WBA, the utmost black-hearted organization, and I'm going to say it blatantly because they're not doing what's right for us, the fighters. What the WBA has done to their own organization is just poison. The WBA, they didn't step up to us, the fighters, man, in time of need because of the circumstances. And that's wrong.
I feel sorry for him. The fact that he was lured over under false pretense of, this $1 million purse or whatever, and then the Russians tried to, fob him off with $225K in cash. He was taken into a dodgy room and had to pressure him to take, the original purse, and then they just decided not to pay it. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
Week and a half before the fight, I just stopped cold turkey training because I'm here in the hospital, fighting with my son and my wife for their lives. I'm not thinking about fighting right now. I'm thinking about my family's life. Povetkin's promoter, Rubinski, ended up communicating with Kadyrov, the president. He reached out to me, because this is a billionaire company. Why does he keep calling? They know my situation. I'm at a battlefield with my wife and son. And he got on the phone and said, yes, please come over. We want to give you $1 million. Please, come. This is the biggest event in our country since, it's like an Olympics for our country. At a stage, nothing this humongous, Once they promised us the rematch clause, they put in on top of the $1 million on that. The rematch clause is what really sealed the deal.
July 6, 2014, we're in Grozny, Chechnya. Fres Oquendo versus Ruslan Chagaev. How does the fight go for you?
I have to pace myself. I'm thinking having trained or muscle memory started kicking in half of the fight. Chagaev was gasping. He was losing. He was looking like a beaten fighter. Kadyrov started getting nervous. He did not go just one inside the ring to wake him up. Not two, not three. He went there 4 times. There's rules and regulations in WBA, books that if a person that goes up there that's not part of the 4-man corner in there, they're automatically disqualified. But of course, they're not going to do that in Chechnya because they'll get, beheaded or something. Ain't no telling. Their lives are on the line. You know what I'm saying? So the whole chips were, unanimously was stacked against me. They had to carry him out, the stretcher, from the, to lose. Yeah, it was just a black out of boxing that the WBA, they didn't do their job. That's when I knew that the fix was in. We went to the airport after the fight. Still haven't got my money. Timur was Kadyrov, like one of his right-hand man, and this other guy named, actually the WBC women's representative, Mueller. He had ammunition. They all had carrying guns in this airport. They both came up, told me to, accept this cash and, go on. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, this is not what I was promised. I refused to accept. I said, no, where's the $1 million? I had to go home with no money.
Were the WBA aware of this?
See, that's interesting, because being a commission, they were supposed to make sure the fighter get made, and that's a great point there. Yes, the WBA knowing that I was supposed to get paid a minute, and they were supposed to make sure all fighters and all their commission, all the championship fighters get paid per contract, per WBA contract that I signed. That promised me that, and the WBA didn't do nothing. They turned another way.
Later in July, Terek, the company promoting the fight, sends you $215,000, not the $1 million, not the $500K.
It was like a slap in the face. I said, okay. I ended up getting together with my legal aid, my legal team, and we decided, these guys are not being trustworthy, and the WBA, we're gonna have to put them on the spot.
In March of 2016, Ruslan Chagaev fights Lucas Brown in a fight that becomes a moment in the history for Lucas.
Yeah, that would have been me. Yeah.
The WBA say Brown versus Oquendo must take place. Your reaction to when Lucas Brown tested positive when you got that news?
Wasn't surprised, because after he got knocked down, cut, busted, he got back up and knocked Chagaev out, which Chagaev was winning the whole fight unanimous until that round. So he had to be on something.
The WBA mandates Shannon Briggs and Fres Oquendo for the vacant belt. Shannon Briggs tests positive for steroids. In September of 2018, Shah versus Fres Oquendo is ordered. Shah fails a random VADA drug test on August 24th.
I was frustrated. I'm just upset. Like, I've been doing all the right things, and these guys just keep prolonging my life, my career. But I tested positive, and that's when the WBA should do something about it and reward me. It's not my fault that I don't get a chance even to step in the ring, because these guys are all juicing, and I'm glad for VADA to be in existence, and I should be crowned champ. The WBA, who promised me in 120 days by signing that contract, I'll be fighting again for championship. Here I am 6 years later. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me that, because, man, Fred, how can you deal with all this madness and family, all this at once. But, I leave it in God's hand. Boxing, like I said, is 80% mental, 20% physical. And, I've been through worse situations growing up. A kid from Puerto Rico migrated to Chicago, one of the worst housing projects in the city of Chicago, which they call Chirac. For me, if I survive that, I can survive anything.
Hopefully that was a nice little intro into this warm up into the video. If you guys are in here, nice to see you in here. Just a little stream, been off for a while. Don't envisage that I'll get a load of views, but just something to whip off the rust, I suppose. As we got Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin to look forward to tonight. We've got Luther Clay versus Chris Kongo in the ring right now. One of the hotly anticipated fights. Actually, really good trade fight here. Just about started. Chris Clay and Luther Kongo. For me, I think Luther Clay is going to just about takes it for me. In the sense that I think Chris Kongo is a really good fighter, but he's not actually I think he's only beat one person with a winning record, whereas Luther Clay, I think he's been beaten better opposition. What the hell is the WBO Global title here? I don't know. What's the difference between the world and the global? Steve was saying, what is this? What's next? The Flat Earth title? That's probably going to be next, considering all the titles that are around here at the moment. But Luther Clay looking a lot smaller actually here than Chris Kongo. Chris Kongo looks really, really big, actually. He's obviously got the height difference, but then in terms of width as well, he looks just a much bigger man, which is very interesting. Good body shot there from Luther Clay, though, using his reach, bending his legs and getting in that right hand to the body. Good shot there. Looks massive. Looks absolutely massive. It's a jab, though, from Clay. Good work there. Clay just really looking to whip one into the body. Nothing too much has happened here just yet. But yeah, let me know how you're all doing, and let me know what you think of your predictions for Whyte versus Povetkin. Obviously, we're doing Taylor Persoon as well. So yeah, we've got Jack, my mate Jack, in. It's good to see you in here. Whyte to win by decision. Heard it here first. Most people who are backing Whyte are backing Whyte to win by KO. They obviously see Povetkin as the older fighter. Let's have a quick look. You'd obviously see Povetkin as the older fighter, 41 years old. He's been there, done that. And someone like Whyte being the younger, fresher fighter, being able to use that youth and exuberance and discharge Povetkin eventually by knockout. Shouldn't have to take it to points. But we've seen younger fighters come up against Povetkin and come unstuck. Like, for example, recently Michael Hunter with the draw against Povetkin over it was Saudi Arabia, wasn't it? And for me, I thought actually Povetkin won that fight. I remember that was the fight where Hunter came out in the Predator mask, wasn't it? It was a really good entrance. I actually quite like that, to be fair. And then, yeah, previously to that, he fought Hughie Fury, and Hughie Fury came and stuck against Povetkin. It was a really weird fight, actually. Really weird way that Hughie fought that fight. Thought he was a little bit gun shy at some points. Even though it looked like he was tagging Povetkin, he just didn't seem to want to engage and risk taking a shot and kind of let the fight go by him. But yeah, it's a really good fight in offering. Anyway, regardless of the age of Alexander Povetkin, it should be a nice fight. We'll see how Dillian comes through. We've got a preview and prediction later on after this, but we'll stay with Chris Kongo versus Luther Clay, sorry. As we continue, round one's just gone. Looking good, looking nice. We'll see how he gets on. This is Alcies's charge against Dillian Whyte's charges, and Alcies, the Russian promoter, a really good guy, doing his Cold Wars over in Belarus. Done quite well. I think it's going on to a next set of Cold Wars 2 and Cold Wars 3. We'll see how that comes along. It was a shame because there were supposed to be some English fighters coming through, or British fighters coming through, weren't there, on earlier sets of the shows, but what happened with the British Boxing Board of Control, some of the other promoters as well, nicking a couple of the fighters as well that he had on board for his Cold Wars and taking them over to their sets of fights. For example, it was, I forgot the name now, it was on the Frank Warren show, wasn't it? Dex Spellman. Dex Spellman was supposed to fight against someone over in Russia. Instead, he was poached by Frank Warren, and he instead fought Lyndon Arthur. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, it was just a shame with Al, but he's got a few more shows coming up. He's just signed Zach Shelley, and Zach Shelley, for me, beat Jack Cullen there. What happened there with those cards? What was it, 94? I can't remember what the score cards were. 96, 94, then 96, 95, and then a draw. That was a load of rubbish. Zach Shelley beat... Steve Wellings just messaged me saying Congo is a big lad, and he absolutely is. He looks massive, like I just said earlier, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, really weird fight. It was just such a shame. I don't know if anything was going on there, but we know what it is with Little Lever's Meat Cleaver. He's a big ticket seller over in the Manchester area, isn't he? So maybe they wanted to keep him. That's a good shot there from Luther, but also Chris fires back too. Good body work there, though. I like the punches that Clay's picking here. It's nice. Whether he has the ability to affect... Oh, it just takes a good right hand there, and it's pushed a little bit by Congo, but Congo landed a really good right hand actually onto the head of Luther. Didn't hurt him, he came through it. But this isn't quite the too slick Luther. Chris, I've got to get these names right. Right now, he's boxing around, but he's not quite using the movement. He's just circling around to his left at the moment. Whoever got with Taylor and Persoon, given the 6 weeks notice that Delfine Persoon has last King of Scotland, I'm going with Katie Taylor. It was a close fight regardless. I still think that Katie Taylor lost that fight. She lost to Delfine Persoon. But with the 6 weeks notice that I know Delfine Persoon keeps herself fit, but I think Katie Taylor will just have the edge in this one. I don't think she'll engage as much as she did against Delfine as she did in the first fight. So therefore, I'm going with Katie Taylor. What about you? Who are you going with? Let me know. If you're in here, smash that like button. It helps me out loads. And subscribe to the channel. Just make sure my volume isn't too loud. I'll lower that down a little bit. And just let me know how that gets on. But yeah, round 2. Luther Clay and Chris Congo. They're just hugging. As Luther Clay has his back towards ropes. Just shoots off of onto Chris as he's told to break. And then they're separated. Good little feints here from Chris. Luther doesn't bite though. Left hook whipped into the body from Luther Clay. A jab to the head as well gets through. So that reach as well is a bit of a problem. Although a jab just rocks Chris to his back of his heels. They just exchange their winging. Neither of them land really with anything. Good couple of jabs here to the body from Luther Clay. This has been quite the hotly anticipated fight, one that I've seen in the IFL interviews. It was actually a pretty good interview where Luther Clay and Chris Congo were kind of going at each other, and because this was scheduled earlier, wasn't it, for one of the earlier fight camps. And Luther Clay needed more time, didn't he? And he wasn't ready. And Chris Congo was saying he just cited his professionalism. It was unprofessional. Should be ready around the clock and should have been ready for the first scheduled fight, and as such needed more time. And I think there was a belief that Luther Clay had coronavirus, or at least he was very ill and couldn't train for a number of weeks, so therefore they had to reschedule it. But it's here now, and it's bubbling into a really nice fight. I didn't expect, I said it before, but I didn't expect to see Chris Congo just towering and looking the bigger man over Luther. But Luther's doing alright. He's not phased by any shot at the moment, so not been scoring it, but we'll see what happens in this fight. As we get a shot of Delfine Persoon, as Lost King of Scotland said there just in the chat, that he's edging towards Taylor. I'm pretty confident in Taylor, to be fair. I'm pretty confident. I think she'll come through this fight. 6 weeks notice. I know she keeps herself fit. She's like a policewoman, isn't she? But for someone like Katie Taylor, I think she's just going to need a bit more time, and 6 weeks isn't enough. Battle of the jabs here, as Chris Congo is just putting Luther Clay off coming forward, but then Luther charges forward with a couple of left hooks. A left hook and a right hook. Eats a right hook to the body though. That was good work there from Chris. And a digging shovel left hook-ish from Chris Congo was a peach of a shot onto Luther Clay there. Good work back though from Luther. 3-punch combination ending with a right hook, right hand to the body it was. Gotta get rid of this global title trash though, haven't they? No offense, Luther. Nice solid jab from Chris Congo. Another one as well, as he's just stepping back with the jab, just putting Luther off. Check left hook from Chris Congo lands onto Luther. Right hook again gets onto the body of Luther, and then Chris Congo steps out of range. That was really good work there, actually. It eats a left hook to the body, though, there. That was a good shot there from Luther Clay. Nice work there. That's got to hurt him. Those are eventually... It's a 10-round fight, so we'll see if those digging shots to the body do end up affecting Chris Congo later into the rounds. Nice left hook there from Chris as well. Just shoots it off straight away. You saw Luther still in range. Shot that left hook and just rocks it. Or in the clinch, a right hand comes through from Luther. That was a great shot as well. Chris Congo eats it and then just steps back. Eats another left hook, as well as Luther looks to dip to the left and then engage, but he didn't get the opportunity because Chris moved out of the way intelligently. That was good work there. Really tough to score this. I don't know what you guys think of this fight if you're watching it. Good body shot from Luther. Nice little shot there. Yeah, really tough to score, and I ain't going to bother. Right hand gets through from Luther. His two right hands actually got through. A little bit dirty there, though, from Luther. But it's nice work. Nonetheless, he got the shot through. I like that he's changing the levels on Chris Congo. Luther goes to the head, goes to the body. He's getting most of his successes actually landing onto the body. Chris's work comes well when Luther's charging in and he gets on like a jab or a check left hook and then moves out of the way. Hard to score. Not going to bother scoring. Dillian Whyte just coming into his... Those changing rooms suck, man. Look at them. It's just a little shitty room. Obviously, they can only do so much, right? But it's just a little shitty room there. It's terrible for them. Tosh Bear Grylls, Junior Malone in here from the Boxing Asylum. Good to see you in here. Hope you're enjoying the fights and fight night. Round 4 kicks off, and it's Luther Clay eating another jab. Battle for the jab, saying that right hand to the body has found its successes through all 4 rounds. It's good work from Luther. And then as Chris looks to... What are those faces there, Tosh? Have I missed something? Have I lost something here? I'm just making sure as well. Yeah, you can see all your chats in there. That's great. I'm glad they've got that on there as well. So that's good. Good work here from Luther. Clay's just covering up and just looking for a little bit of respite from Clay's barrage. And he's working in the clinches. It's nice work, actually, Luther is. He's not using that to rest. He's using it to work. If Chris comes through this with the win against Luther, it's a really good win. Considering the fact that, like I said earlier, if you didn't pick up on it, Chris hasn't fought anyone with a winning record. That's a really good body work. Actually, left hooks and right hooks onto Chris Congo, just sapping the energy of him. And he tries to return left hooks himself to the body, but Luther blocks it. And that's part of the problem, like with those left hooks. Unless you're left hooks and right hooks, that body work, unless you're digging it right under the elbow when you're the taller man, you're going to have to reach further because you have that height disadvantage in that sense. And Luther was able to block those return shots to the body from Chris because of that height differential. And he landed another body shot as well there to Chris. He looked in some bother there. He's come through it now. He's now looking to single shot and smother, which is a good tactic to buy himself some time. Make the round shorter. If you're in here and you haven't done so already, hit that like button as it helps me out loads. That's a good right hand there. And Luther's in a bit of trouble as he eats an uppercut as well. And as he clinches after that. Now they're both looking to just throw, but it was a eye-catching right hand there from Chris Kongo. And a stiff jab to follow up from that as well. Another right hand gets through from Chris. And a left hook. Good check left hook from Chris. Luther was just a little bit lazy after he shot his own left hook to the body, and left hook in return. Partially covered, it seemed. Hard to score. If anyone's in here scoring this, let me know this, because I have no idea. Or even if you're not scoring it, just let me know who you think has the edge, because I don't know either. This isn't no lean or nothing, it's just water. Or tea. Drop the tea for now. Got some breaking news as well for you after this fight. I'll tell you, we'll jump into the heavyweight division where I have the breaking news, and I promise you won't have heard this news anywhere else. I'm just confirming it right now, but I'll give you my interpretation of the news once this fight is over. But I promise you it's something that hasn't been reported as far as I've seen right now, so I'll let you know that as soon as this fight's over. What was a massive pole they're carrying with Povetkin? What is that? Round 5 of 10, halfway through this contest. Another body. That's a signature landing body shot for Luther. It's been really, really nice work to see him just shoot for the body first as his entry, to then having more success through other shots. But that nice right hand to the body hasn't been responded to effectively by Chris Kongo. He's been eating those right hands to the body all night. Just tries to land a check left hook as Luther comes in, but I think it was blocked. Overhand right from Luther lands. Looked like Chris was just in a bit of a daze there. Now back on his feet, keeping the distance to his liking is Chris, as he lands a long right hand there onto the chin of Luther Clay. Just being a bit busy with the work there, pit up at his shots. Lands another right hand, an overhand right this time gets blocked as it comes over the shoulder onto Luther Clay's shoulder. And as he's coming in, he just gets caught, Luther, with a right hand and a left hook there. Luther's in a bit of trouble here. Luther's in a lot of trouble here. As he's on the ropes, eating shots, right hand and uppercut. He might go down here if he's not careful. He's being macho, but he's eating shots here. As he works his way out of that corner. He's still back onto the ropes, though. Chris has got to be careful not to punch himself out. But that was a bit of bother there from Luther. He's still in it. Right hands to the body, to the head. Left hooks as well. It's good shot selection here from Chris. Just punched himself out a little bit here. Luther riding that storm. Not all of it landed. I have to say, not all of it landed, but there was enough there to keep him on the just riding that wave there of pressure. Right hand, nice right hand there from Clay in return. And body work again. Digging those body shots, left hooks and right hands to the body of Chris Kongo. This will be a conclusive Kongo round though for me regardless, because of that pressure he put on that period of 45 seconds to a minute bother that he had Clay in. But that tide is now turned and there's less output now from Chris. He's looking to have that breather, stepping off on the back foot. Comfortable still, but he's just looking to take that time away and recuperate after that barrage. And that's a nice round there for Chris.
Here we're getting some of the highlights of that. The right hand comes over the top as Luther's trying to land a shot to the body. And here's where it started. Here it is. There's the right hand there. And shots to the body and left hooks and right hooks. He did well to dodge quite a lot of those shots. Some of them weren't fully clean. There was one little like left uppercut I think that looked clean. But some of those other shots were actually blocked by Luther. Haven't had another look at that quite well, to be fair. But yeah, not a good round for Clay at all. After he hurt Congo to the body. Round 6, the second half now of this fight. Short little left hook there as just before the clinch from Luther Clay, which is an eye-catching shot as he gets to work in those clinches. Better work in those clinches from Luther Clay for sure. Chris looks to use them to rest. Clay looks to use them to work. Chris on the back foot now. Misses a wide left hook from Luther Clay. Still on the back foot, just getting that rest. Chris Congo is a triple jab he lands just to pick off his opponent, keep and establish that range that he's in right now. Keeping any work away from him, from his body and his head, as he slips a jab. Another triple jab employed there, just keeping Luther Clay off and at bay and disrupting the work that he's trying to implement here. Luther just doesn't want to be stuck in those clinches, and Clay is all too happy to just grab the ropes and get that bit of rest. Another hurtful body shot there from Luther. Chris again, 5 jabs there, just getting Luther off of him. There's been minimal output. Bad work there from Luther because Chris has turned his back on him. And he's winging in shots, and he's got to be careful because he'll get points deducted away from him if he continues with that. But there's not a lot of output here from Chris Congo. But in that, he's still using his jab effectively to just put Chris off and not let him win the round or outwork Chris. He's got to be told off there though, because he's willfully spinning around again, getting a couple of seconds of respite. Because obviously Luther can't throw when he's turning around. Good left hook though from Luther. Eats a right hand from Chris Congo. Luther just slowing a bit here, tiring a bit. I think this is a Chris Congo round as well. He's done really well to rest in this round and still win the round. Luther's getting a bit wild here, just I wouldn't say falling apart here, but he's just, the form is a little bit unraveling. Another Chris Congo round there for me. So the corner for Chris Congo is saying, I'm sitting here watching a boxing masterclass. It's not quite been that. That round was good though from Chris Congo to keep Luther Clay at bay. But boxing masterclass? No, not quite. Round 7. Again, Luther Clay coming forward, Chris Congo on the back foot, boxing nicely. Stiff jab to the body from Clay, unanswered by Chris Congo, who's actually answering by just moving around on his feet, light on his feet, trying to circle around out the way of his opponent and get back to the centre of the ring as he does now. Digging shot to the body from Luther Clay as Chris looks to hold and get out of the way of the ropes again. Moving around his opponent to the right, Luther Clay just walking him down, shoots an overhand right, which lands but doesn't land flush on Chris Congo as he moves around to his left. Clinch again, same sort of stuff with the clinch. Luther working, Clay trying to rest. Luther's not letting him off the hook in those clinches. Luther's just looking to just knock him out, isn't he? Every punch that Luther throws, he throws them with intentions to just hurt Chris. Nice work there, though. It was a jab and a right hand and another jab, I think it was, from Chris. That was flashy work there. Some nice work here, though, in return from Luther Clay, who's jabbing as well, turning his opponent in those clinches and then trying to shoot off. Didn't quite get the success there, though. These next two rounds will be very, very interesting in terms of seeing if that body work will pay for Luther Clay. Good work there from Chris again. A jab and a right hand after it. That range is really, really advantageous to Chris because he's able to set off his offense from just that half step further out and then move as well out of range after he's hit those shots. Last 30 seconds of round 7. Luther Clay getting a couple of shots in. Another right hand to the body again. Being his most effective shot. Eats an uppercut though. And then Chris Congo moves out of range again. Eats a short left hand though. Luther Clay doing well though. Cutting down the ring. Really good work. We'll see though if it's one of those fights where this aggression from Luther will pay out in terms of taking the judges' eyes and giving him the rounds. The slicker, better work has to be said is coming from Chris Congo. Sometimes it's not as often as some of the work that Luther's doing, but in the rounds previous, this is really, really good work. Like round 6 was a really, really good round for, as well as round 5, obviously coming off of looking like Luther Clay was hurt. Round 6 was a really good round for Chris in terms of being slick and moving and not getting hit and keeping Luther at bay. British Memes saying, when's Whyte fighting, bro? British Memes, Whyte is fighting at around 10:15, so stick around or pop in at around 10:15. We should have the Whyte fight on. But good to see you in here regardless. Round 8. Jab rocks the head back of Luther. Again, just being kept out of that range to just throw. It's good tactics. It's good work from Clay, and he's Luther, not Clay, Congo, sorry. And there it is again, almost like that round 6 sort of tactic to just keeping Clay on the end of a jab. Congo just a little bit amateurish as he winged a shot over and just ran to the centre of the ring. Looking tired. I think both these men are looking tired. Chris more so. On his feet, moving from left to right, Chris Congo is just trying to buy himself some space. pushing Luther there. That was it worked for him. Double jab from Chris Kongo, nice work. Jab in return and a right hand from Luther Clay onto Chris Kongo, and then Chris looks to just hold and works a bit in the clinch there. No real clean work gets through from either of them though. Feinting there, Chris Kongo, but he doesn't choose to throw after the feint. Just chooses again to buy himself some time and real estate in the ring. Nice right hand from Chris, and Luther looks a little bit hurt here. Eats a long left hook. Luther's just still coming forward to his credit. He's eating some shots and he's taken a few shots to give a few. Slips out the way of a triple jab combination. The first jab got through, and then he used good head movement to move out the way of Chris Kongo's jabs. As they're both just wrestling each other onto the ropes, Chris gets his back towards the far ropes and gives himself some room to maneuver out of the way of Luther Clay, who again closes down the ring and is winging in some shots. Not cleanly, as again he's wrestled into a hold which stops the flow of Luther Clay. A left hook gets in and some untidy work from both of the men from Chris Kongo. But that's been the kind of rule, not the rule, the almost line that's been running through, at least in these last few rounds. In that the holding, the movement, and then the jab, and then when Luther Clay comes in, Chris Kongo will throw it. It's just been disrupting and stopping that flow that Luther's trying to get into to land successfully on Chris Kongo. And I think Chris is doing really well here, and I'm not screwing this by any means, but these last few rounds I think I've had him all winning them. But some of these rounds are just what you want, what you like. Do you want the aggression? Do you want a couple of the slicker, cleaner punches in this fight? Depends really how you see it. It'll be very, very intriguing to see how these judges have scored this fight. Two rounds left. See if anything changes here drastically. The referee is just taking a moment here to talk to both of the fighters here. Probably something to do with the clinching and holding. Maybe some of the low shots. There was a couple of low shots from Luther. Nothing towards the groin, but more towards like the thigh of Chris Kongo. But low nonetheless. Jab lands on the head of Chris Kongo. Luther is just a little bit. What's the word I'm looking for? He shows when he's about to wind up and throw a left hook or a right hand. He just does a little twitch, which gives away the fact that he's about to throw that punch, and Chris is able to read that little flick there, little movement with the shoulder, and then get out of the way of that punch that's coming through. Whether that's something that they've researched prior to this fight or something he's just seen and adapted to, I think that's a good read there from Chris Kongo. Solid single left hook thrown without a jab from Chris Kongo. Luther on the back of the ropes. He's hurt here. He's hurt from that left hook. He's looking to hold. Right hand gets through. A jab gets through. An uppercut gets through as well. Now trying to hold, but he's not able to hold here. Chris pushes him off and back onto the ropes as well. Oh, eats an uppercut here and a right hand and a left hook. Another left hook. Luther's in a lot of trouble here. He's able to hold on to Chris Kongo, buy himself some time again. But Luther looks really tired. He's just been eating those jabs on entry. too much, I think, here. Chris tired a bit though now, and Luther's finding it all too easy to just step forward. No real attempt to defend here from Chris, just because he must have thrown and emptied the tank there a little bit in that last barrage earlier. But Luther's not got a lot back either. Oh, and Luther goes down from a left hook. He looks absolutely just drained. The towels come in as well, I think. Yeah, the towels come in, and it's over. Luther Clay, after a left hook, goes down. I think just more from exhaustion at that point anyway. And Chris Congo is the new WBO Global welterweight champion. That's a crushing defeat for Luther Clay there, who showed a lot of heart actually to come through and keep coming forward. But Chris's size, Chris's slickness as well, just picking some good shots, and he's just a little more stronger than Luther Clay there, and was eating punches all too readily. It's a good stoppage, has to be said. Luther looks just absolutely out on his feet. He's getting some oxygen now. Good fight though. That was a really, really, really good fight there. Luther Clay can come back from this, I'm sure. And Chris goes on to bigger and better things now. Well done, Chris Congo. I said that he didn't have a winning record. He didn't have a winning record. Sorry, he hadn't fought many fighters. If I think one with a winning record, but he's proved himself here, being on paper what was the better fighter. And that slickness and just little bit of edge and power is proved. Here we go. We're getting a replay of this. There's that left hook there that started it. Luther's just knackered here. Yeah, I think that's... Obviously, he took that left hook, but I think that's just more just exhaustion. He's absolutely knackered. Well done, Chris. Well done, Luther. Just getting shots of Chris Congo here just down on the mat. A fight with Needle, it must feel really good for Chris to come out on top, the victor against Luther Clay. I'd like to know what the scorecards were though. I think Chris Congo was winning it. Luther doesn't look too happy here. Obviously wouldn't be, because obviously he's coming on the losing end of a fight. It's a grudge match between the two of them. But some nice words being exchanged here, I'm sure, between Chris Congo and Luther Clay here. As we preview some of the other fights coming up, I think we've only got two left. We've got Delfine Persoon versus Katie here. I'm just going to run a quick promo here and take a little quick break. Let's have a little look at this.
I told everyone about tapes we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you simply they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this were longer round, he would have gone It was very close. Then she fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the check hook, which prevails. And then she fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's bicep snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Mariusz Wach, very poor. He just underestimated, but Mariusz really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Wach is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
Right then, yeah, so you saw that. It's a little interesting little minute preview from Al Siesta previewing Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. Really good fighting offering. We'll just move to some previewing this fight. We'll first have a look at Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon, which is a really, really good fight if it goes anywhere near like the first fight did, which was just a barnstormer, wasn't it, in Madison Square Gardens. Like, we all saw what happened in Madison Square Gardens. I wonder if any of you in here had scored that fight for Katie Taylor after having watched it, and it was for me a Delfine Persoon win. And those scenes where Delfine left the ring distraught was very moving to see, but now she gets that opportunity because of COVID to right that wrong that she feels she received all those months ago. And to be honest with you, only because of COVID, maybe you could say that she's actually getting this fight. It seemed actually that they were looking towards that Amanda Serrano fight. They were looking towards the Amanda Serrano fight, and they couldn't get that over the line because Amanda Serrano had been offered, what was it, a TV deal to host something or be part of something over in another country. Telemundo had offered her that deal, and it was a deal in which actually, from a fighter's perspective, it's a really good deal. You don't have to get in the ring and fight or take any punches or do a training camp. You're getting paid more money than you get paid to fight, to present or host or be part of some show. So it's a shame for her that she wasn't able to, I don't know, actually maybe she did, but it seems on the face of it she wasn't able to actually take on that contract because of the contract she signed with Katie Taylor. Obviously Lou DiBella had his thoughts about it being a matchroom fight camp plantation, wasn't it, and all slave contracts and things, and that had rumbled on for a little bit. But what had happened, because of the fact that Amanda Serrano wasn't able to or didn't want to take the fight, whatever the circumstances were, has left the door open for a rematch that looked like it wasn't going to happen. That rematch is Delfine Persoon stepping in to fight Katie Taylor now at 6 weeks notice, which is a shame, because for a fight of this magnitude, which is seen as by a lot of people as the best women's fight they've seen ever, and when women's boxing has had this spotlight in Matchroom Fight Camp, where we've had Shannon Courtenay take on Rachel Ball, which is an enjoyable fight, Natasha Jonas taking on Terry Harper, which is another enjoyable fight as well, Cecilia Braekhus taking on Jessica McCaskill picking up the win. We've had this nice little run of women's boxing that's hopefully going to culminate in this fight. Now again, it would have been better, sorry, if Delfine Persoon had a full training camp, but it wasn't meant to be, because it wasn't meant to be the fight in the first place. But we've got this fight, and I still think it will lead up into being a really good fight regardless. That is if Katie Taylor gets drawn into a fight like she did in the first fight. It's all dependent on that, essentially, because I think the feel right now is that Katie Taylor is going to box better on the back foot and not get drawn into that firefight with Delfine. Now, there will be some points where she cannot avoid that, especially when it goes to the later rounds. When she starts tiring, you're not going to want to move. Delfine Persoon's going to draw that energy from her through the previous rounds to get to that point where they're going to have to engage, and that's exactly what Delfine wants. But Katie Taylor's got to ensure that those moments are few and far between, and that way she'll then get the victory and conclusively on those scorecards. So we'll see how that works and how that goes. I think it won't be as good of a fight because of the fact that that game plan is going to be looked to be implemented from the Taylor camp. But those moments in which it will eventually catch fire, as it has to, will be very nice to watch. And we'll see, I think, in my opinion, Katie Taylor coming through with the decision on Delfine Persoon. I wouldn't even rule out a stoppage, because both these ladies, actually, Delfine Persoon specifically here, eats a lot of punches on entry, like we saw with Luther Clay there. And Katie Taylor does as well, because Delfine Persoon was able to find those gaps in the defense to shoot over with shots and those punches in bunches. Maybe the first one doesn't get through, but the third, fourth, and fifth might do. And both the women were just knackered and eating shots towards the end of the fight. So we'll see how they both get on. I think Katie Taylor's go and win the fight in the end. We'll see what a couple of other people saying. I'll run this promo back as well as we're waiting for that fight to happen. But Dillian Whyte, I think, is supposed to be fighting at 10:15 to 10:30. That'll be the round out, obviously the top of the card. But Delfine Persoon versus Katie Taylor, or Katie Taylor versus Delfine Persoon is next. We have Steve Wellington here. Steve, it's good to see you here. Obviously, I'll be popping in the chat for when you do your post-fight review. So I'll be in there in the chat, chatting away. But yeah, whilst we're waiting, I'll run that promo back again for you guys to see. I'll just run that right now as we're waiting for Taylor and Persoon ring walks.
I told everyone what keeps we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you, simply, they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this were longer round, he would have gone. He was very close. Then he fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the check which prevails. And then he fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's bicep snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Mario Schwag, very poor. He just underestimated, but Marius really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Luck is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
My apologies there. Sorry, I've done that before and I've done that again. Pacer, thank you very much for letting me know. Smash like and subscribe if you're new here. I haven't seen you in here before. What I said was I was chatting away there without even saying anything. So thank you for letting me know, Pacer. I had some breaking news in the heavyweight division, which I'm just double checking and checking over. But if I've understood this correctly, in the heavyweight division, the battle that Fraser Kendo has been fighting against those who have provided the injustice to him in his boxing career will rumble on, rage on throughout 2020 and into 2021. So there's no end in sight just yet, as it seems, for Fraser Kendo, as a recent court ruling has said that there will be depositions and further litigation, I suppose, in his matter with the WBA. So yeah, no end in sight just yet for Fraser Kendo. He will be looking to fight that, and he will fight that. We'll obviously have that, any updates that we have, put out there as we get them from Frez. However, it seems at the moment that the battle isn't going to end now in a nice... It's not going to, is it, with Fraser Kendo and the things that have happened to him. It's not going to end up in a nice little, neat little bow tie packaging Christmas present under the Christmas tree type of deal, is it? It's going to be one that rages on. It is raging on, unfortunately. I will be reading some of the information that Frez has sent over to me in more detail, but for now, that's the situation with Frez. It will be rumbling on, and no end in sight just yet for Mr. Kendo. So yeah, we're just waiting now for Katie Taylor to take the ring against Delfine Persoon. I was chatting away, jumping away there with my mic unmute. If you're new here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. I do all these live reviews. I interview for boxing live reactions. I interview for Boxing News TV as well. So go over to Boxing News TV and smash the like and subscribe button over there. Check out some of the interviews I've done. I'll be getting out. I'll be unleashed out of my cage. Chris Algieri versus Manny Pacquiao style. Back interviewing hopefully very soon, as I have my exam to come through. But yeah, whilst we're waiting for Katie Taylor and Delfine Persoon to take the ring, I'll just run through some of the Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin preview. Like, we all know this, so let me know your predictions. If you're in here, hit the like and subscribe button, and let me know your predictions for this fight as I give you the rundown. So Dillian is coming in almost a new and improved man, isn't he? Like, you've seen his physique, especially from like the Marius Vac fight to him on the scales then, before he had that Alexander Povetkin like outfit on. He stripped down and he looked really good on the scales, didn't he? He's been over in Portugal the last 3 months during this coronavirus lockdown, and having implemented as well a change in his camp in the form of replacing the experienced Mark Tibbs with Xavier Miller, who isn't an unknown by any means, but rather someone who has been in and around the camp, utilised in other areas, and essentially he's been given here the promotion to head coach the Dillian Whyte camp, which is a nice thing for him, isn't it? Because their reasoning is obviously that Xavier Miller's been in and around, and if you want to become a head coach, you've got to get your break, and they're giving him the break, aren't they? But is that a detriment or an advantage to Dillian Whyte? I'm just seeing here the repeat of Katie Taylor getting the victory over Delfine Persoon, and Delfine just wagging a finger. But yeah, is it a detriment or an advantage to Dillian? Like, it's hard to gauge at this point in terms of experience. It's a massive loss, isn't it? Mark Tibbs has been with Dillian for a long time, knows him inside out, and that will, whatever way you look at it, be a loss to the camp. That can't be denied. But Xavier is familiar, and most importantly, Dillian, I think here, what's quite telling is actually that he's drafted in Dave Colwell much in a similar way. That pre-Fury versus Wilder, Fury drafted in... One second, just got to make sure I'm charged up on my phone. One moment. Yeah, so much in the way that pre-Fury versus Wilder, Fury drafted in Freddie Roach to be another pair of eyes, another pair of ears into the camp, into the fight, to pick up on things that might have been missed by the main man in the corner, that being Xavier. And they all seem like happy with it, don't they? So it's really hard to answer if it's a detriment, if it's an advantage. Dave is a very experienced, a good addition coaching-wise, in my opinion, to be honest with you. A safe pair of hands. We will see what Dillian Whyte with Xavier Miller they've been working on, essentially, and what steps in the ring on the night against Alexander Povetkin. If anything's really that different, can it be much different? Is Dillian pretty much a complete article? I think he is pretty much now, apart from like very minor things that they can work on, I suppose. But the Dillian Whyte going forward now is going to be the Dillian Whyte pretty much that we're going to see throughout his career now. I don't think there's much more in terms of nuances we can see from Dillian. He is the fighter that he is right now. And moving on to the WBC situation, I put some notes down on this, but I feel like I don't even know where to start or where to talk about this, because it's just such a mess of a situation, isn't it, really? As you all know, like, Dillian Whyte is next in line to take on the winner of Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder once the trilogy is complete. And let's be honest, right, this whole situation is such a mess with what's what. Like, the WBC, the idea of Fury becoming franchise champion potentially, so I've just got my eye drawn here to Katie Taylor with all the belts being held by her team. They're just about getting ready now. I think they're waiting for the knock on the door to come. Those changing rooms are fucking awful, aren't they? I know obviously Eddie's making do with what he can, but they're crap. They're just literally crap little walls and chairs, and Obviously, they can only do so much, but that's rubbish. It must be so claustrophobic to be in there. You're waiting for a fight, and you've only got a certain amount of to pace up and down. That's shit, that is. But matchroom fight count with all the lights, the bright lights shining down on Eddie Hearn's lawn. Then obviously the matchroom headquarters in the background, as we're seeing the Taylor tape here. Katie Taylor, age 34, age 35 for Delfine Persoon. 15 fights to 46 compared. Record rounds 114 to 306. That's a lot of rounds in the tank for Delfine. I think I was reading something about how age might be a factor normally in the heavyweight. Well, not the heavyweight. Sorry, age might be a factor normally in terms of men's boxing, but for women it's less of a factor because of the makeup and the makeup of the body. So age doesn't take too much of a factor away. Obviously, as men, when we age, we start losing testosterone, don't we? And that's less of a factor in women. So when it comes to sport athletes, it's women age less in terms of sporting, in the sporting realm, and that's how you see that they're able to compete and not slip as much as they age. But anyway, back to what I was saying here as I muddled through that. Yeah, so what's what with the WBC? We don't really know. There's the idea lingering around that's probably going to happen. At least it cements Tyson Fury's ability to pick and choose his opponents anyway. The idea of Tyson Fury becoming franchise champion. We don't even know if the trilogy is going to take place. Sometimes we don't know whether we're coming or going in the situation. There's not even any real clarity after this fight with Povetkin in terms of Dillian Whyte's position. There was an email that came out from Mauricio Suleiman to Eddie Hearn saying that he's confirmed after a review at the WBC annual convention. They confirmed an official ruling in the heavyweight division that if the interim champion, Dillian Whyte that is, wins against Povetkin, he will be ratified as official challenger to face the winner of Fury vs Wilder 3. And one day after the fight between Fury vs Wilder, the period of free negotiations begins. Now, what does that actually mean? Like, I don't really even know. Like, I can take that statement as face value, but what does a potential fight agreement between Fury and Joshua do to that? I feel like it's a statement for statement's sake and something that was kind of already in place. I mean, why is there the need for that statement when Dillian Whyte holds the interim championship? What's that there for? Isn't that statement just essentially... Isn't the belt essentially a belt shape and form of that statement? So why need to make it? Do you get what I mean? I've probably not explained that very well, but what does the interim championship mean if they've made that statement as well? I felt like it wasn't needed. But it seems, I suppose, maybe that they've cleared up the situation there. We'll hold off and break away from that as we'll preview a bit more of that as we come towards the Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin fight. We're just getting the ring walks now for Delfine Persoon versus Katie Taylor as the strobe lighting here looking like a Triple H entrance. Time to play the game, and Delfine Persoon is playing the game of boxing and the game of life against Katie Taylor. Her rematch, her time in the spotlight that quite frankly she's deserved. This is a fight that should have happened regardless of lockdown and coronavirus. I'm glad from my point of view and her point of view that she's got this rematch. Not me hating on Katie Taylor in any way. I'm just saying that from my point of view, she won. She didn't get the win on the scorecards, and she should get the rematch, and she's got it right here, right now. It's a shame that she's only got 6 weeks' notice. It would have been better if she had come in with the full notice. But we'll see if 6 weeks is enough. She's got her injuries as well, hasn't she? I think she's had a hip operation, or she's put off a hip operation. That's a really nice little entrance here with the fireworks as well. Not fireworks, but the fire. I really like this part of Matchroom Fight Game. It might get some stick from me for maybe the fights not being 50-50 as they were put out there. But the entrance and the spectacle is on point. It's really, really nice with the backdrop as well of the house. It's absolutely incredible, and I want to see more of this in the future. I like the step up in production, especially in terms of this production element of the entrances. So Delfine Persoon is now walking to the ring. She's just about on the apron now, and she's in the ring now, looking nice and relaxed as she would be. Just pushing her arms out, light on her feet, jumping up and down, wearing those colours of the Belgian flag on her outerwear and on her shorts, I believe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of your predictions for the fight. If you think Taylor will win this, if you think Persoon will win this. I think Katie Taylor will get the stoppage here, actually. But Delfine Persoon is game as they come, isn't she? Katie Taylor's about to make a ring walk now. Whilst we're waiting for Katie to make her ring walk, I'm just going to quickly fill up my cup of water. So I'll be right back in a moment. We should hopefully have both these women in the ring and get ready for the fight. So I'll be back in just over a minute, probably about 90 seconds to 2 minutes, whilst I go to the toilet and get some water. Back in a sec. I am back. Just whilst we're waiting, I'm just going to run this quick promo and then I'll get to Adam's question very shortly. Whilst we're waiting, as we're going to just preview quickly Dillian Whyte as well, just run this quickly. So have a quick look at this whilst we're waiting for Dillian Persoon to start.
I told everyone what teams we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you, simply, they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this were longer round, it would have gone. It was very close. Then he fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the check hook, which prevails. And then he fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's biceps snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Mario Schwab, very poor. He just underestimated, but Marius really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Luck is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. A little bit of delay there, but hope you enjoyed that. Just about to get the women now. The official instructions is about to start. So 10 rounds of boxing here for the Undisputed Lightweight Championship here. Adam Hall asking me, what result do you fancy in this, Ames? Adam, I don't think I've seen you here before, so smash the like and subscribe button. Great to have you here. Adam, I'm going with Katie Taylor. I think she gets the fight on decision, and I think she might even get the stoppage. I just see Delfine Persoon, there's been talk about injury, not getting the full time to prepare for this fight. I think Katie Taylor will win this on points. I think that's the way I'm going to go. I don't outrule the stoppage here, but Katie Taylor on points. But I don't begrudge either women winning this one. But either woman that takes this fight will obviously deserve it. And I don't want to see any form of any just like, you know what I'm saying. When it comes to if someone wins the fight and they deserve it, I want to see it reflected on the scorecard. So if Delfine gets it, then Delfine should get it on the scorecards as well. Like I feel she did on the first time round, and she didn't get it. So yeah, I'm going with Katie Taylor. I'm edging with Katie Taylor. That's my final thought for this as we're getting into the fight now. Adam, let me know what you think, and let anyone else in the chat let me know what you think for Taylor versus Persoon 2. Am I right? Am I talking out my ass? What do you reckon? But in about a minute or less, these women are about to tear it up in the ring. And hopefully this culminates into a really good fight, which will be just the end of some really good women's fights recently, especially on these shores. Been very enjoyable. Good to see a rise in exposure for the women. I think they've provided really good value. I think they've been really, really fun to watch. And I hope they get much more exposure, as they do deserve, in my opinion. I can't deny that. And won't either. So this is the eagerly anticipated rematch. Katie Taylor vs Delfine Persoon. Bell's about to ring. It has rung now. And it's Delfine Persoon bobbing and weaving. Katie Taylor just pumping out that jab. Bit of a wild right hand there from Delfine. She's very herky-jerky, just closing down the distance there. Just knocked onto the back there from, I think it was a right hand. I think it was more to do with the footwork there as opposed to the power of the punch. But Delfine Persoon ate a shot there, just rocked her. She eats also a left hook as she comes through. Eats a right hand from Katie. This is good work from Katie in the first 30 seconds. Delfine all over here, swarming very, very uncouth, very, not the opposite of slick, whatever that is right now. I don't want to go rough, tough, rugged. Feints throwing the left hook. I think both the heads just clashed there. Good work though in this clinch. Good right, a succession of right hands there from Delfine Persoon in that clinch. Another nice right hand there. I think it just hurt Katie, who's on the outside. Delfine Persoon just putting that pressure on. Nice overhand right there from Delfine and the left hook there. That's some nice work from Delfine Persoon. The clinch and Katie Taylor just falls to the floor. Very rough work here. All part of Delfine Persoon's plan. She's looking to disrupt that free-flowing boxing rhythm of Katie by being very wild and pushing her out of her element in a sense and putting that pressure on her to create those moments to capitalize upon. Nice stuff. I think just about Katie Taylor picks that, but there was some really nice work there from Delfine too. But Katie's got to make sure she stays and remain calm and not get drawn into that firefight and keep to the boxing. Like I said before in previewing this fight, those moments where they engage like they did in the first fight have got to be fewer and further between than they are in this fight, and that will mean and that will provide the recipe for success for Katie Taylor. Because of that, if she negates it, makes it more about the boxing and catches her coming forward and doesn't get drawn into those engagements with Delfine trying to tough it out and fight with her, then she'll attract the eye of the judges through her boxing and get those rounds on her scorecard and come through to a victory on the scorecards as well. There was some very impressive work from both the women there. Katie Taylor just about getting that for me. Shooting a jab and a right hand, misses from Delfine, sorry, and then Katie just moves around to her right. More pressure here. She eats a shot though. Delfine's just throwing and winging in punches. Just those unorthodox looping shots. Nice work there. Nice little slick boxing work there from Katie that time. And she covers up as well from the little barrage and slips a couple of the punches. More so actually that Delfine's accuracy wasn't on point there to land those shots as opposed to Katie slipping. But covered up well nonetheless. She towers, doesn't she? She towers over Katie Taylor, doesn't she? I think Delfine, is just complaining about Katie came forward and I think just headbutted her a little bit there. Delfine's face is reddening. I don't think it's from punches, more from just the amount of force she's exerting right now. Beautiful right hand from Katie, and then she just comes in towards the clinch just to smother that and keep that right hand being the exclamation mark on that little engagement there. A jab, and then she ducks under Delfine Persoon. This is some proper rough stuff from Delfine here. Trying to it's all arms right now, and they're all just moving about, bodies writhing, as Delfine's trying to get some offense off, but she doesn't. Katie does well there. Another impressive right hand there in the action that Delfine Persoon's trying to force. She's eating right hands, and she eats a jab too. Light on her feet, Katie just backs towards the ropes. That's some more good work for Katie there. Tougher round though, less in it than it was in the first round. Is that a cut? I can't quite tell. Her nose looks busted. I can't tell. Is it a cut or not? It looks like it. It is, I think. It's like a cut towards the right cheek. Am I right? I need to have a look at that. Just trying to get a better look at this, because it looks a really nasty cut, to be fair. If it is, could be totally wrong. Could be a bruise. It's something. But that'll be from the clash of heads. That was the clash of heads that Delfine was complaining about. Four punches from Katie, all blocked from Delfine. In the clinch, they're both getting off some nice body work. Nice single jab to the body and to the head from Katie Taylor. That's good work. And then she steps back. That's a solid right hand there from Delfine. And an overhand right there. Body work here from Katie. 3-4 punches getting through. Katie Taylor looked like I think she just slipped there as opposed to taking a shot, which kind of put her on a dip in her knees there. But she does eat. I think it was a left hook as well. Again, Delfine on the front foot here, winging in the right hand. Complaining, I think, about a poke maybe. The referee just urges both women to keep fighting on. Wild right hand from Delfine. Misses completely. As a left hook misses from Katie, but the left hook to the body gets through. Good 1-2 punch combination from Katie. But she's just stuck here on the ropes. Now she moves out. Looks to pull counter there, but Delfine didn't take the bait. The heads are clashing a little bit in this round as well as it did in the previous round. A left hand and a right hand misses quite amateurishly from Delfine. Katie using a... Oh, she just eats a right hand right on the end of the bell as well. Katie Taylor did, but quite amateurishly Delfine Persoon misses with a left hand and a right hand. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Doing these fight reviews, I just finished my exams. Otherwise, I would have done fight reviews for all the matching fight camps. But in the future, I'll be doing all of those as well as putting more boxing content out there. Make sure you subscribe to Boxing News TV and check out my interviews I've done in there as well. A couple of interviews coming out soon. And check out as well the Boxing Asylum. They're doing a live review straight after all the action. And that'll be a great listen. I'll be in the chat there, so make sure you're there as well. Boxing Asylum for the live review. And on Monday, we'll be doing a live review of Matchroom Fight Camp 4 on Boxing News TV with myself, Steve Wellings, and Foz. So do check that out. Foz being Elliot Foster, of course. So check us out on that as well. Round 4. A lot of shots missing here from Delfine now, because they're very much telegraphed. That's the word I'm looking for, telegraph. Luther Clay was telegraphing his work as he was coming through against Chris Congo, telegraphing with a couple of tells from his right shoulder, left shoulder as such. And Delfine's are being a bit too obvious. Her best work is actually in these clinches where she's getting off some shots here when it's rough and it's some nice work actually. Katie Taylor's just been dragged around the ring a little bit here from Delfine. Eats a short jab, eats a left hook to the body and a right hook. Scrambler. She's such a scrambler. She just puts you proper up your rhythm and then just throws. Pick of the shots though in this little exchange here was a left hook to the body from Katie. And a single jab as she just exits that, disengages, keeps Delfine out of range here. Katie with her hands down now, winging in a couple of shots, trying to put that chest leg hook onto Delfine as she smiles after she just eats his right hand after Katie's good footwork to get out of range, and eats another right hand again from Katie Taylor. Delfine just doesn't stop, does she? She's just an engine right now. It's only round 4. We'll see if she slows down, but she just hasn't at all. Not being as successful so far. She might be more successful in the later rounds, but the engine on her is incredible. Again, if you're new here and you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing all these live reviews, live reactions. Please join me on them in the future as well, as we're coming up to more boxing being on the screens. There's that right hand that she eats and just smiles after taking it from Katie Taylor. That's nice work, but it's covered up. Some of these shots are covered from Delfine, and we'll see if the judges read them as clean shots. I think Katie just asked her corner about the rounds and if she's winning them, and the corner just says some of those rounds are back and forth, hard to read, and they have been hard to read. Katie, I think, has at least won 2 of them on my scorecards, but we're in round 5 now. I couldn't really tell you about the other 2 rounds, to be honest with you. But this is where it'll start telling, and where Katie started tiring the first time round. Nice left hand there from Delfine, just stopping Katie in her tracks, rocking her head back. And then this work here really starts to tell on you in the later rounds when she's dragging around her opponent. She's forcing her into positions. That was a peach of a right hand though from Katie. Then she disengages again, moves round, stepping to her right, just getting caught in the corners here. Being pushed and pulled around, takes punches, the arm, the elbow comes around. She's been pushed down, pushed up, pushed every single which way from Delfine. It's like a whirlwind, it's like a tornado, being dragged from position to position. And in that tornado, Katie Taylor's just picking a few shots quite nicely, actually, under all that pressure. See, she's slipping here nicely from Katie. That looked low. That looked very low, actually, as she gets a warning from the referee. Delfine's shooting low there. Nice right hand comes through though from Delfine in this barrage. A left hook to the body and then a left hook followed up to the head from Katie Taylor was nice. Trading jabs there, both women. Eating a left hook, Delfine Persoon. Oh, I was a peach of a left hook there from Katie. Delfine just walked through it, and again, Delfine just unfazed. Just coming forward and throwing. I could learn a lot from Delfine here. It was just throws and throws and throws. Gotta love it. If anyone's scoring it in the chat, let me know what you're thinking, because I've not been scoring this. There's that left hook we're getting on the replay, which was lovely. Proper, just through the head back of Delfine. And again, we're getting it, because there were two of them. Very nice work. Still haven't had a good enough look in at that cheek of Delfine. Boxing UK is saying 3-2 Persoon up at the halfway stage for us. Jabs are now starting to come through for Delfine. Kate's slowing down a little bit here. It's just mental. Nice little slip in from Katie. She must be such a horror to box. A little bit low there from Delfine, I think. Might have been good. Shot to the solar plexus. I thought it was just a tiny bit low. Those jabs again, that reach and those jabs are just starting to give Delfine a bit more of another avenue actually now to implement her punches onto Katie. A right hand comes through. That's a good work actually. A right hand of her own comes through Katie Taylor as well. Oh, nice right hand. Delfine Persoon coming forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just walking forward and throwing hands at Katie. So Katie isn't boxing and moving around. She's getting drawn again into the firefight. Although she throws a great left hand actually that rocks the head of Delfine, and another one, but she's coming forward still and throwing her own. It's unreal right now. Absolutely unreal. It's unreal the amount of... Oh, Katie Taylor asking if she got it. Yeah, absolutely unreal if Delfine's just able to keep going at this rate. But this is the thing. Their idea was to not engage in these firefights and not get drawn into it, but they're getting drawn into it. Katie Taylor can't help right now but get drawn into it. That was a solid... That shot that I thought was low was a peach of a body shot right on the belly button of Katie Taylor. We must have just sucked the air right out of her. I want to see Katie boxing more, moving around the ring more, not getting drawn into this firefight, but at the moment she is. There's the jab again. Trying to hit a left hook and then moving off to her left. That's better now from Katie. Moving around the ring. Looking tired though, but moving around still. Slipping. There's opportunity for the pull counter there. She doesn't execute it though. Slipping those punches from Taylor, from Persoon. And then launches a right hand of her own, which she gets through. More of the same though from Delfine, just walking her down. Sorry about that, I just had a phone call. Last 45 seconds of the 7th round. Left hook, uppercut from Katie Taylor. Answered in return by bodywork from Delfine Persoon. Exchange of jabs. Both land for both women. Overhand right from Delfine Persoon onto the chin of Katie. Tries to shoot again, but Katie sees this one, but eats some bodywork instead. 1, 2, 3 punches from Delfine Persoon. Katie just looking like she's wilting, getting a bit tired here. Can't give you a link, unfortunately, British memes. I wish I could, but I can't. Otherwise, I'll end up getting a copyright struck. If only there was a way. But there isn't, unfortunately. A lot of people complaining about the broadcast of this pay-per-view. A lot of problems. If you check out on Twitter, people can be complaining about what's being offered right now. People were complaining anyway at the start, weren't they? Because of this pay-per-view not being up to standard in terms of pre-lockdown anyway. I think it's a different standard you have to judge it by anyway because of lockdown. But if you compare a previous Povetkin pay-per-view, Katie just picked up by a coach there. Very interesting. I think she's tiring. Both women will be tiring, but just the engine on Delfine is incredible. Delfine Persoon is like the fucking boss at the end of the end boss at the end of a game. She's unreal. Just keeps coming. Oh, a single jab comes through for Delfine Persoon. She's catching her, and then these jabs now round 8. 2 more rounds to go. Looked like Delfine was wobbled there. It was more just feet as opposed to anything else. So she throws a right hook to the body, then 2 left hooks to the body onto Katie Taylor, which both land. A digging uppercut to the body as well. As Katie is on the floor. Yeah, Delfine just dragging her opponent to the floor, Katie Taylor that is, as opposed to Katie getting stopped because of a couple of punches. It sort of seemed like it because she's throwing some nice shovel uppercuts to the body. Katie just eats a right hand though, and a left hook, and another right hand. Katie just in a bit of trouble. Just shoots off of the ropes there now to get out of the danger, but she's still in it here, still in that whirlwind. Eating a left hook, another one as well, straight shots too. Oh, nice work from Delfine. The referee slips. Hey! Slipped on something. I don't know what that was, but the referee, Ian John Lewis, slips on a piece of something in the ring. if you get the sense now that Delfine Persoon as Katie Taylor's Tyrant is just going to come on a lot stronger, and Katie's going to struggle to win these rounds the way she's going right now and getting caught in these firefights. It's served up on a platter right now for Delfine Persoon to win the remaining rounds and then see what the scorecards entail. Round 9 of 10. So this is the penultimate round. 4 minutes left of this contest. Katie Taylor up on her feet. Peach of a right hand though from Katie Taylor and Delfine. But Delfine's just coming straight forward. It's like the Terminator. And Katie just doesn't have the answer right now to stop the Terminator coming forward. That pop in the punch isn't quite there at the moment. There's a good right hand though from Katie. Rocks the head back of Delfine, but she's still coming forward. Jab misses and she eats 2 jabs in return. Good side movement there from Katie just to get out of the way of Delfine Persoon, but not a lot's coming back here. Right hand, that's a impressive right hand from Katie. Good work there. Now she's just got to keep Delfine Persoon off for a bit to make that right hand count instead of eating a few shots in return. She can't keep Persoon off. Actually, now she does keep her off. She moves out of the way for Delfine, but now she's caught in the clinch and that whirlwind again where she's thrown left and right and then shots come in as well. She's pushed up and she's pushed down. She eats uppercuts. A jab comes through for Delfine Persoon. She's just a bit wild there with the right hand. Does this woman need any energy, any fuel? Does she just keep going like this? Does she walk home back to Belgium as well, just throwing punches? She's like the female Sean Porter. That's what she is. She's the female Sean Porter. People saying that it's Delfine Persoon who's winning this fight. Tenth and final round here. We'll see what happens here. If anything crazy goes on, the Twitter sphere saying that Delfine Persoon has got the win here. Single jab, left hook from Katie Taylor though. And another left hook from Katie. Eats another single jab. And a right hand. Katie just walking backwards, trying to get out of the way of these punches. A good left hook though comes from Katie. And she shoots a right hand. Then she tries to move out of the way, but the barrage keeps coming. This whirlwind just keeps coming forward. A jab comes through from Persoon. Right hand lands for Delfine. Left hook lands for Katie. Left hooks land for Delfine. Two left hooks land for Delfine. Then a left hook up to the head lands as well. They're both just throwing at each other. Ah, nice right hand there from Delfine too. And a left hand and a jab and another jab. Katie's just throwing as well. It's a punch out till the fucking last second of this round. Oh, Katie looks like she's about to go. Katie looks like she's about to... She's throwing back though. They're still going. Referee calls it a slip, but then Delfine just gets straight up and just throws anyway. Oh man, very, very, very enjoyable fight that. We'll see what happens here on the scorecards. If Delfine gets it, Katie gets it. I have no idea. For me, again, I think Delfine wins this. The first 4 rounds, I think Katie kind of... You can probably give for Katie at least 2 of the 4. I think I gave the first 2 for Katie. Then the next 2 were a lot more closer. But you could conceivably have this 8-2 to Delfine. You could have this 6-4 for Delfine. It's going to be very close, this, I think, on the cards. Close again, as it was the first time around. Let me know what you think. You're in here, let me know what you think. Hit that like and subscribe button, and then let me know what you think about who's won this fight. Did Delfine Persoon get this, or did Katie Taylor get this? The results not come through just yet for me. Oh, what a right hand that was. Rip-roaring right hand from Katie. But she had some shots of her own. There we go. Banger. Bangers and mash from fucking Delfine. Could you imagine fighting someone like Delfine? It'd be unreal. Look, she gets up and just throwing. Funny. What a character. Could there be a trilogy if Delfine wins this? Here we go, about to get the result here now. Scorecards coming in and out. 98, 93. 96, 94. Unanimous decision here. Katie Taylor. There you go. I predicted it. That Katie Taylor would win a unanimous decision. Well, that Katie Taylor would win on the scorecards on points. And she's got the win on the scorecards here. Delfine not as downbeat as she was the first time round, and we'll see. It's one of those fights I feel like I want to watch. I feel like I want to watch that again, Tosh. I honestly, like, it's such a hard fight to score as well, because Delfine throws lots of wasted punches, but she catches a lot of punches as well. Well, she takes them, and then she throws a lot, and Katie was getting rocked by a lot of punches too. It's hard to say. That Victor Loughlin scorecard, I think the one that you're saying, 1 by 4 rounds, is the one that's just not right. And one card with by 2. I don't know. I think Delfine, for me, just having a look at this, I think she won. But I was expecting something different from Katie. That's what it is, I think. A bit more slicker, not engaged in those 5 fights, but she did get engaged in those 5 fights, and maybe there's a bit more of a tell here. The fact that Delfine's, you know, look, she bows her head here. Great sportsmanship here from the both women. Very hard to dislike either of them. That's it. Tosh, you're absolutely right. If Delfine was just a bit more polished. Sorry, do you mean Delfine or Katie? Because this could apply to either of them. But if Delfine was a bit more polished, she would absolutely just walk this fight. But some of the stuff she was doing, her roughness, I think, works really well for her. I love the way she just throws people around. Like I said before, she's like the female Sean Porter. She's just so unorthodox and just does her own thing. Dillian Whyte, we're getting a little picture of him right now, just throwing some body shots here. The body snatcher, getting in some pad work with Xavier Miller as he just roll for a break. But yeah, that was a nice fight regardless. Very good. It didn't under-deliver. Very much was what it said on the tin. A very enjoyable fight. I'd like to see it again. Not gonna lie, I'd love to see it again. Very enjoyable. Katie Taylor got the win against Delfine Persoon on the scorecards by unanimous decision. I agree with you, Tosh, that the first scorecard by Victor Loughlin was harsh. I think I need to properly sit down and score it. And it's still regardless, it's a really hard way to score a fight because there's so much going on. Tosh, what do you think? What do you reckon that? Do you reckon that Katie Taylor won the fight, or do you reckon that Delfine won the fight? How did you see it? British memes, I can't give you a stream, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have done that already. But regardless, the fight's coming up very, very soon. Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. Again, I'll just take a quick break. I'll run the promo once more. You've probably seen it 3 times, but you can see it once more, and it runs for a minute. This is Al Siesta running down the last couple of fights of Dillian Whyte in his career. Lucas Brown, Oscar Rivas, Derek Chisora 2, Marius Vac. Let's get into it.
I told everyone, look, cheaps, we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you, simply, they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this were longer round, he would have gone. He was very close. Then he fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the check which prevails. And then he fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's bicep snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Marius Vac, very poor. He just underestimated, but Marius really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Luck is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
That's the thing, innit, Tosh? That's the thing. It's so hard to... She is so scrappy. She is rough. She's just so unorthodox. Like I said, the female Sean Porter, scrappy. She draws you into that whirlwind. She pushes you left, pushes you right. While she's pushing you, when she throws you left, she's throwing her left up. While she's throwing you right, she's throwing the right to the body, some uppercuts. She's throwing everything. She's literally throwing the kitchen sink. That's a kitchen sink fighter for you right there. Every single round, she's looking to just throw as much as she can at you. And your job is to not get drawn into it. And I feel like Katie Taylor, just like the first fight, she got drawn into it again. Again, one of those fights you just need to sit back and score. I feel like I had it to Delfine, but the judges saw something different, and there was some nice work. Actually, it has to be said, there was some really, really nice work from Katie Taylor. Sorry, right hands were coming through, really nice work. But I just felt like Delfine had more work coming through. Come on, Whyte, 9th round KO. I'm going for the 7th round stoppage for Dillian Whyte on Alexander Povetkin. And I'll give you now, whilst waiting for the fight to start, I'll give you the tactics, and this is the way I see it. So if you're watching this, let me know how you think Dillian Whyte wins, and let me know how you think Alexander Povetkin wins, or either or, whichever one you're fussed about. But tactics-wise, right, I think Alexander Povetkin, we know what we're going to get from him. He's strong, he's sturdy, He can go the rounds. He can punch and punch hard enough to finish a fight in an instant. He wouldn't still be around at 41, being from a previous era, if he didn't have that longevity about him. And that's what's kept him here. To his credit, I think Povetkin will look to ease through those earlier rounds, look for the later rounds to land further assaults and more telling assaults onto Dillian, and push then to get that knockout. I don't think Povetkin can win on the scorecards. I think this is a fight that's set up essentially for Dillian to win. That overhand right and the left hook are those key punches in this fight for Alexander Povetkin, as I'm sure everyone here knows. We saw that on our shores here recently, didn't we? I mean, oh god, like, I remember it. Do you remember it, guys? Alexander Povetkin versus David Price. What a crazy fight that was. Let's just answer a couple of quick questions as we're getting it here. Dara Crean saying, who won? The winner was Katie Taylor. Unanimous decision on the scorecards. Katie Taylor comes through Delfine Persoon. It was a fight in which you can argue again that Delfine Persoon win, and it seems those in the Twitter sphere who scored this fight are arguing for Delfine Persoon again. But all that matters are the scorecards of the three judges, and they scored that in favour of Katie Taylor. So Katie Taylor keeps her undisputed status intact by beating Delfine Persoon in Matchroom Fight Camp. Smash like and subscribe if you're new here, Dara. So as I was saying, let's get back to Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin here. Like, do you guys remember that? You guys must remember that. Alexander Povetkin versus David Price, right? I remember watching it because it was my sister's birthday, or at least it was my sister's birthday meal, right? And I was at like a really nice restaurant trying to watch the fight. And fortunately for me, the guy on the door had the fight on his computer. So I was able to see on the side, whilst eating my dinner, the Price and Povetkin fight. And I got to see that finish. That right hand that Povetkin threw that just shut down the lights of David Price. It was knock. No one, the lights are on, but no one's home because of that right hand. And then the subsequent punches that dropped Price and the way he struggled to push his head up. It was a brutal knockout. It just shows the danger that Povetkin possesses. And he can, like, I know, yeah, sure, he's 41, but he can't, be written off. Much like anyone in the heavyweight division, but him specifically, because of the power that he has, it can't be written off. But yeah, I'd like to see Povetkin, set Dillian up for those hurtful punches off of the jab, and then look to cause damage. He's got to be cute with it, because of course that's what Dillian Whyte's going to be waiting for and what he's trained for. In preparation for the fight, if Povetkin telegraphs and goes too often with that overhand right or the left hook, then it's going to be easy for Dillian to predict, telegraph, and then negate, and then put his own offense onto Alexander Povetkin. So yeah, he's got to be cute with that, I think. Otherwise, Dillian's just going to see it coming, and he's going to catch and shoot his own left hook to topple Povetkin. And we can't, for Dillian Whyte as well, you can't overlook the jab. Jab is going to be a key punch. As much as people are saying, oh, this is the battle of the left hooks. And yeah, sure, the left hooks off of Dillian Whyte and the left hooks off of Alexander Povetkin are something that's going to be a key factor in the fight. But the jab, Dillian Whyte's jab specifically, is going to be something properly fundamental for him to get the victory if he implements and utilizes it correctly. Because we were all saying in the Dillian Whyte fight with Parker, with Rivas, how good his jab is. Even people comparing it to Larry Holmes. He has a very good jab, doesn't he, Dillian? And he will have to use that jab to the full effect, keeping the marauding Povetkin off of him for potentially 12 full rounds, and that's not going to be easy, and you can't be lazy with that either. Whyte, furthermore, not by any means faster, but the faster of the two, can use the ring and circle around the opponent. It's not really, well, you do see it sometimes. You saw it more in the Rivas fight, especially Whyte kind of circling around the ring and being that one that's more of the boxer of the two fighters. I think he'll have to do that, and he'll have to implement that at some points as well. But I think he looks to want. He's more the type of fighter that wants to knock out Povetkin straight away and make that statement as quick as possible. But that's something he can look to do. Be the ring general there. Win those rounds through the ring generalship using his footwork, just circling around the right and the left of Povetkin and shooting that jab off if he wants to rest. But here's my prediction. Before I get to my prediction, I'll just read through some of your comments. Yep, ropes kept Povetkin up at one point. Yeah, it did get scored a knockdown, didn't it? But they did. Price threw a right hand of his own, wasn't it? Or was it a left hook? It was one of the two. And yeah, Povetkin was almost like a comedy style. Like you want to put like a comedy laughter soundtrack over it. Just walking backwards, wasn't he? After that, after those punches from David Price. But yeah, British Museum, he almost killed Price. Price was in some shape, wasn't he, after he took that shot, man. It was horrible. It's horrible to watch, let's be honest. Who do you want to win? I want my man Dillian to win. I want Dillian to win. I'll be honest with you. Like, I have no... Dillian, for me, had a lot of goodwill coming for him and towards him, because he's always entertaining to watch. When you watch Dillian Whyte, you're guaranteed a good fight. You're almost nearly guaranteed a KO. You're guaranteed a knockdown in some shape or form, and you're watching a fighter who could possibly get knocked down himself, and that could happen in this fight as well. Dillian could conceivably have to get off the canvas to win this fight. So in that sense, Dillian's brought off a lot of goodwill from the fans, in that they just love seeing his fights because he's very easy on the eye to watch in terms of the fight as a whole. Furthermore, he's the alternative, isn't he, to the Anthony Joshua, who's kind of the cookie cutter, John Cena-ish staple picture boy of the division, isn't he? He's someone who can hop into the mainstream, go on the Graham Nortons, and, you know, sell a fight and dip over into the mainstream whenever he wants, right? Dillian's the alternative to that. Dillian's the rougher, the street, none of that shit. I don't think he's really interested in that stuff. Obviously, he's been on MasterChef and such, and it suits obviously to get those opportunities. But is that Dillian Whyte's bread and butter more so than compared to Anthony Joshua? No, he's much more of the just more about the boxing. I think they're both about the boxing, aren't they? But Dillian Whyte's less about the thrills and more about just being in the ring. So yeah, I mean, I like Dillian, and I do want him to win. But me wanting to win isn't going to change the fact that he's up against a really tough opponent here. Let me know who you want to win. I'm sure a lot of people in here want Dillian Whyte to win, but we'll see if he does. He's got a tough test in front of him. Let's have a look. Do you think Povetkin is in good shape, Ames? Yeah, I think Povetkin is as in good a shape as he's ever been, really. Povetkin normally comes into a standard, doesn't he? I don't think he's in the best condition we've ever seen, but by no means is he in the worst. He's just been classic Povetkin, really. It's what we just normally see from him. I don't think he's in too dissimilar shape to the Price fight, to be honest with you. Let me know if I'm wrong. He might be in better shape, but I think he's in pretty much the same sort of shape as he was in for the Price fight. And that's just Povetkin. Povetkin's ever the professional, isn't he? Like, he's not going to mess around. Takes every fight seriously. Comes in shape, comes in prepared, and comes in knowing that he's got a job on his hands, and he's got a job on his hands against Dillian Whyte, and he's looking to do the job on him. Eye test wise, yeah, like I said, just looking at him on the eye, I think he's about the same, to be honest. Do you think any differently, Tosh? Do you think Povetkin's looking better or in worse shape than he normally does? What do you reckon? Yo, long time no see. Boom, boom, good to see you in here. Smash the like and subscribe button if you're in here for the first time in a long time, if you're first time here. I'm going to be doing more live streams to just finish my exams, basically, so otherwise I would have done the Matchroom Fight Camp reviews for 1, 2, 3. But we've been doing some interviews. I'm over on Boxing News TV, been interviewing for them. So do check those out, and I've been doing some stuff for the Asylum as well. And I'll be in a chat for the Asylum, so if you're looking for a post-fight review, make sure you head over to the Boxing Asylum YouTube channel. They'll be running through the card as well. It'd be great to see you guys in there on the chat as well, so make sure you're on there. But I've been in and around and about. Boom, boom. Good to see you back in here. I'll be doing these live streams for each fight. This is just one of them to get the rust off of me and get back into the live streaming. But we've got much more boxing content coming along the way as well. Dara, I have a box of it, you load of channels where you're able to find the fight. Box of what? I missed it. I can't, unfortunately, give you a stream, unfortunately, but there are some out there if you want to try and find it. Russian beef for the Russian killer. I don't know if he's been on anything. People might be speculating that Povetkin's on something and other people's are on something. I don't know. They've been tested for this one and nothing's come up as of right now. Hopefully we get none of that shenanigans that we had in the Rivas fight. You want none of that tainting this at all, do you? You don't want any of that after this fight saying this and that happened, that and this happened. You don't want any of that coming out at all. You want this to be a fight where one of them wins and after the fight they just move on. No adverse findings happen. That could be terrible for either of these opponents. As Eddie Hearn said, it becomes very hard in the heavyweight division to match up opponents with someone who doesn't have a blot in some form of shape on their record in terms of PED usage. So it's a very difficult position that people are put in when you're making fights in the heavyweight division, but that's their own fault. If they're popping, which they shouldn't be popping, then they take the full responsibility for it. Now what happened did happen with Dillian Whyte, and he's been exonerated as such, but people will have a little asterisk, won't they, over Dillian, and that's just the way it seems to be, unfortunately. So he's always not too bad. I'm rooting for the Russian. Fair enough. Fair play to you. Dara Green. Oh, I see what you're saying, Dara. It's on Sky Sports Box Office. That's the channel you need to look for. White by 9th round KO. I'm going for round 7. I'll give you my prediction in full in a moment. Whilst I'm just waiting, I'm just going to pop to the toilet and have everything set up on my end. I'm just going to put on a promo about Fraser Kendo, which you might have seen, might not have seen. I'm going to stick that on for the moment. And I'll be back shortly after I've just popped off to the toilet. So just hang on tight. I'll be back in a moment.
And now, the WBA, the utmost black-hearted organization, and I'm going to say it blatantly because they're not doing what's right for us, the fighters. What the WBA has done to their own organization is just poison. The WBA, they didn't step up to us, the fighters, man, in time of need because of the circumstances. And that's wrong.
I feel sorry for him. The fact that he was lured over under false pretense of, this $1 million purse or whatever, and then the Russians tried to, fob him off with $225k in cash. He was taken into a dodgy room and had to pressure him to take, the original purse, and then they just decided not to pay it. It's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
Week and a half before the fight, I just stopped cold turkey training because I'm here in the hospital, fighting with my son and my wife for their lives. I'm not thinking about fighting right now. I'm thinking about my family's life. Povetkin's promoter, Rubinski, ended up communicating with Kadyrov, the president of a country, Chechnya. He reached out to me, this is a billionaire company. Why does he keep coming? They know my situation. I'm in a battlefield with my wife and son. And he got on the phone and said, yes, please come over. We want to give you $1 million. Please, you come. This is the biggest event in our country since, it's like an Olympics for our country. We never had a stage, nothing this humongous, Once they promised us the rematch clause, they put in on top of $1 million, all that. Rematch clause is what really sealed the deal.
July 6, 2014, we're in Grozny, Chechnya. Fraser Kendo versus Ruslan Chagayev. How does the fight go for you?
I have to pace myself. I'm thinking having trained or sparred in 2 weeks. Muscle memory started kicking in half of the fight. Chagayev was gassed the fan. He was losing. He was looking like a beaten fighter. Kadyrov started getting nervous. He did not go just one inside the ring to wake him up. Not two, not three. He went there 4 times. There's rules and regulations in the WBA, books. That if a person that goes up there that's not part of the 4-man corner in there, they're automatically disqualified. But of course, they're not going to do that in Chechnya because they'll get, beheaded or something. Ain't no telling. Their lives on the line, you know what I'm saying? So the whole chips were, unanimously was stacked against me. They had to carry him out, the stretcher, from the, to lose. Yeah, it was just a black out of boxing that WBA, they didn't do their job. That's when I knew that the fix was in. We went to the airport after the fight. Still haven't got my money. Timur was Kadyrov, like one of his right-hand man, and this other guy named actually the WBC women's representative Mueller. He had ammunition. They all had carrying guns in this airport. They both came up, told me to accept this cash and go go on. I'm like, huh? And I'm like, this is not what I was promised. I refused to accept. I said, no, where's the $1 million? I had to go home with no money.
Were the WBA aware of this?
See, that's interesting, because being a commission, they were supposed to make sure the fighter get made, and that's a great point there. Yes, the WBA, knowing that I was supposed to get paid a minute, and they were supposed to make sure all fighters and all their commission, all the championship fighters get paid per WBA contract that I signed. That promised me that, and the WBA didn't do nothing. They turned another way.
Later in July, Terek, the company promoting the fight, sends you $215,000, not the $1 million, not the $500K.
You know, it was like a slap in the face. You know, I said, okay. I ended up getting together with my legal aid, my legal team, and we decided, these guys are not being trustworthy, and the WBA, we're gonna have to put them on the spot.
In March of 2016, Rusev Chaga fights Lucas Brown in a fight that becomes a moment in the history for Lucas.
Yeah, that would have been me. Yeah.
And the WBA say Brown versus Oquendo must take place. Your reaction to when Lucas Brown tested positive when you got that news?
Wasn't surprised, because after he got knocked down, cut, busted, he got back up and knocked Chigaev out. Which Chigaev was winning the whole fight unanimous until that round. So he had to be on something.
The WBA mandates Shannon Briggs and Oquendo for the vacant belt. Shannon Briggs tests positive for steroids. In September of 2018, Char versus Oquendo is ordered. Char fails a random VADA drug test on August 24th.
I was frustrated. I'm just upset. Like, I'm doing all the right things, and these guys just keep prolonging my life, my career. Well, I tested positive, and that's when the WBA should do something about it and reward me. It's not my fault that I don't get a chance even to step in the ring, because these guys are all juicing, and I'm glad for VADA to be in existence, and I should be crowned champ. The WBA, who promised me in 120 days by signing that contract, I'll be fighting again for championship. Here I am 6 years later. Yeah, a lot of people have been asking me that, because, man, Fred, how can you deal with all this madness and family, all this at once? But, I leave it in God's hands. Boxing, like I said, is 80% mental, 20% physical. And, I've been through worse situations growing up. A kid from Puerto Rico migrated to Chicago, one of the worst housing projects in the city of Chicago, which they call Chirac. For me, if I survive that, I can survive anything.
I told everyone, look, cheaps, we should react for. This is a bad fight. This is a bad fight to take when you are 5 minutes before being a mandatory. Why? Whoever thinks that Povetkin gonna bank out easily, I can guarantee you, simply, they don't understand boxing. Dillian Whyte, he fought Lucas Brown, stopped him with tremendous knockout. Then he fights Joseph Parker. Touch and go. If this longer round, he would have gone. It was very close. Then he fights Chisora, losing whole fight and finding a left equalizer, the Czech crew, which prevails. And then he fights Oscar Rivas, goes down, Oscar's biceps snaps, and Dillian wins it somehow. Mariusz Wach, very poor. He just underestimated, but Mariusz really turned up and gave him a seriously competitive fight. Wach is running out, that's what I'm saying. No matter how talented Dillian is, unless he's absolutely ready for this fight mentally, physically, he's going, because Povetkin is old school operator.
We're back. Just had a quick break there. Let's get to some of your comments here. Yeah, it's going to be a Sky Sports pay-per-view, Dara. Make sure as well, as we're back in here, make sure you've hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll be doing this all the way through every single fight review of the big fights. I would have been doing this through Matchroom Fight Camp, but I had exams to do, which are finished now, so you'll be seeing these live reactions on for all the main cards on the channel, as much more boxing content coming your way. I'm Let Out the Cage, Chris Algieri style against Manny Pacquiao, and I'll be interviewing for Boxing News TV as well. Check out the channel there, Boxing News TV. And if you haven't already, go to the Boxing Asylum and hit the subscribe button and listen to the best boxing podcast on Sundays, 8 p.m. on YouTube. They're doing a live podcast review of this Matchroom Fight Camp card after this as well. I'll be heading over there as well. So make sure, bottom line, hit the like and subscribe button if you're new. Tosh saying 5 failed tests between them. He hasn't even fought for a European title. Is that Porky? Do I hear Porky there? Porky there shouting, raging and ranting over Dillian Whyte's status right now. Hasn't even fought for a European title, but fair play to him. He's got himself to this position, and he's got himself that dollar as well. He's a pay-per-view. You're only seeing Dillian Whyte now behind a pay-per-view wall, and he's got himself that position with or without the European title. So fair F's to him. The thing is, the sticking point is he hasn't got that WBC heavyweight title shot that he's been wanting for now. It's been 1,000 days, we've been told, and yes, he's had opportunities, but as of now, he hasn't taken that fight. Or hasn't had that fight, and he'll be looking to make sure he holds on to that status of interim champion and getting the WBC Diamond Champion against a tough test in Povetkin. Magoo83, I haven't seen you here before, Magoo, so make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's great to see you in here. I'm calling it now. If Whyte wins, he won't take the Fury fight on BT or Sky Sports, or because the 7:30 split. That's because obviously being mandatory status, that's the split that you get. And I get you. Depends though, because if they're banking on him winning, potentially they've got a better split on the rematch. But I get what you're saying, because it's a tough split, isn't it? 70-30. You want something like 50-50 for a fight like Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury. It's a massive fight, and that actually would suit then, wouldn't it? That would suit if Tyson Fury became WBC champion, and then the fight were vacant, or the belt were vacant, wouldn't it? The WBC belt, that is. Siesta knows, yes. Siesta putting in the breakdown there. We thank him for that, giving us the breakdown of some of the luck that Dillian Whyte has had. You make your own luck in this sport, let that be said, and Dillian's got those victories. He did beat Joseph Parker. He did beat Marius Vac. He did beat Derek Chisora. Hey, it's Wallace 0079. I think your name is William. Good to see you in here, Wallace. I think you subscribed to me you follow me on Instagram as well. I think, I'm not too sure, but great to see you here nonetheless. Great to see everyone in here. Hit that like button. I'm going to give you a prediction now. We're about to get to the fight. So I can't write off Povetkin. Povetkin is old school of the previous area heavyweight boxing, still around, still winning against the younger, supposedly hungrier, fresher fighters. Take, for example, his 2 last fights, a draw and a win against Michael Hunter and Hughie Fury, respectively. Povetkin has proved he still has the hunger and fuel left in the tank for him to drive onto one final campaign for the World Heavyweight Honours. Remember, Povetkin hasn't won the full heavyweight title. He won the WBA regular title, which he held from, I think, 2011, 2013, until they eventually unified, but that WBA regular title allowed him to fight for Klitschko, and they should have then got rid of that regular title, but that's a whole other story. You know about that. Anyway, it's his final chance to campaign for those honours. And Dillian Whyte in this one, much like Hunter and Fury, comes in the younger, hungrier, fresher fighter. Except the difference here for me is Dillian is a completely different fighter to those two. One that looks to and will be on the night here now, looking from the go to knock out Alexander Povetkin. And he looks, for me, Dillian Whyte in top condition from the preparation that he's done over in Portugal. Not the same Dillian Whyte that came in against Marius Vac, but a better one for and to execute the plan to knock out his opponent. And whilst everyone has been talking about that battle of the left hooks, as it were, like I said earlier, the jab, and more importantly, the use of Dillian Whyte's jab, utilising that jab will be key in negating and setting the trap for Alexander to shoot a left hook or an overhand right for Dillian to capitalise upon. And that's where I see, and that is a Dillian Whyte round 7 stoppage. It's not going to be easy though, because Povetkin has all that experience. Remember, we saw him get rocked in, I think, early against Michael Hunter, but he used that experience to see through that turbulence and then get that draw. And I thought actually Povetkin won that fight for me. So it's not going to be easy for Alexander Povetkin, who has those little tricks of the trade, doesn't he, from all the experience he's gained. But eventually Dillian will land the big one and stop Povetkin. That's my prediction. Let me know your prediction. We're about to get the fight. The fight's about to start. Let's see what you guys are saying in here. Pay-per-view numbers will be interesting in this, Ames. Don't you think this must be low? I don't know. Eddie Hearn said it's 25% up on what they were going into Oscar Rivas versus Dillian Whyte, which was like 260,000. I think if this is going to be anywhere near it, I think this will be around, I'm going to reckon around 250,000 buys, I think. Maybe even a little bit lower, around the 200,000 mark. I'll be surprised if it's bigger. And fair play if it is, then Eddie Hearn's got it right, hasn't he? In that being that there was a market appetite for this being pay-per-view, so fair play to him. Yeah, it's been a while. Good to see you here. I got my dollars on Povetkin. Fair play. He's the one that you're going to make money on, isn't he? Here we go. Round 1. Jab is key. I really don't see Whyte beating Tyson Fury. Can't see any scenario in my head. Anything can happen in the heavyweight division, but I go for Fury as well. Seconds are out. First round. Dillian Whyte, Alexander Povetkin meet in the centre of the ring. Nothing happening at the moment. Single jab gets through. The first jab that gets through for Dillian Whyte there. And another one from Dillian. A jab in return on the gloves of Alexander Povetkin. Alexander throwing that overhand right there. Dillian's seen it come through easily. Very slow pace though. Jab coming through though for Povetkin. Nice jab through the guard of Dillian Whyte. Dillian on the outside, Alexander Povetkin on the center of the ring. Just both each seeing each other out right now. There's that right hand and 2 left hooks to the body from Alexander Povetkin. Good little work there. Use that overhand right as the entry and then shot 2 left hooks to the body. Double jab from Dillian. The first one misses, but the second one didn't, and it rocked back the head of Povetkin. There's that overhand right. I just think it just missed again from Alexander. Body snatcher hitting a jab to the body. 3-punch combination. Jab is blocked. The left hook to the head is blocked, but then the left hook to the body from Povetkin gets through. He eats a single jab though from Dillian Whyte. Solid left hook there from Povetkin as well. This left hook was to the body. A right hand in return from Dillian Whyte to the body. Right hook and left hook to the body from Alexander Povetkin. Left hook, that's a solid left hook from Dillian though. Povetkin eats it and comes forward. Oh, slips that overhand right. Oh, both clash of heads there. No damage from the clash of heads though. First round done and in the bag. (10-9) to Povetkin is Tosh saying. This pace will suit Povetkin. That's a really good point, Magoo, actually. Very, very good point. This pace will suit Povetkin. This is a slow pace right now. And for someone, the older fighter, you'd be thinking that Dillian would want to be putting on the gas. Much like the pace that Michael Hunter set in the first few rounds was a nice pace, which Povetkin had problems with. But this pace right now suits both of them. This is a pace that Dillian Whyte's implementing as opposed to Povetkin. And he could change that. But right now, you are correct completely. This pace suits Povetkin down to a T. Dillian Whyte just getting some instructions from Dave. Trading jabs. Nothing off of the jabs though. Good left hook to the body from Dillian there. That was good work. Eats the overhand right though, but then digs us in return a right hand to the body of Povetkin. In that overhand right now that Povetkin shoots, Dillian, when he misses, wants to make Povetkin pay by throwing that left hook, a shovel uppercut-ish to the body of Povetkin on the left-hand side. Here we go. Now the pace is picking up slightly here. Nice, good jab, and then left hook from Povetkin there. That was a good shot. Left hook again from Povetkin. This is nice work actually from Povetkin here. That left hook is a warning left hook though. Doesn't want to be taking too many of them. Povetkin puts more sauce on those left hooks and Dillian's going to go down. Does Dillian seem a little bit slower than usual here? So I think he does. I think you'll see a lot. Dillian's been ducking down quite a bit, and that duck is in an anticipation of a hook, so he can slip a hook when it comes through. So you're going to see Dillian ducking loads in this fight, trying to duck away from the hook, and it'll be up to Alexander Povetkin to see that and change the angle, change the trajectory of his punch to meet with that duck of Dillian. Enjoyable round there. Dillian looks to soften him up and take him out in the sixth. They're both softening each other up. A lot of the good work here, actually, apart from that left hook to the head that Dillian Whyte took from Povetkin there, which, again, like I said, if it had more sauce on it, that would have rocked Dillian even further, but it did have an effect there, but not quite the desired effect that Alexander Povetkin wanted. But a lot of the good work has been happening to both men's bodies here, and they're both looking to soften each other up. It's good work from both of them, to be honest with you. W. Wallace 007 saying the Russian ninja is going to pull out some old Soviet trade tricks. KO by Povetkin in the 12th. It's all possible, and there's no way you can count out Povetkin. He's the more experienced fighter here. He could very much use some of this. Well, he will and is using some of the stuff that he's been learning throughout his 41 years and his whole career. And you've seen that already. $10-9 White Tosh is saying, so one each. Slightly ahead, I think. I won't write again. No worries, I don't mind if you're slightly ahead. It doesn't bother me at all, so feel free to do so. Who took round one? Povetkin just took round one. Just missed that right hand myself. I didn't see it. But Dillian's following up with bodywork, which is good. He's not just throwing himself or going in for the knockout. There's that overhand right again. It's partially blocked, but it's coming through. There's that left hook, right hand, and then another left hook from Povetkin. Majority blocked, but the left hook to the body got through. And then a left hook to the body in return from Dillian Whyte. Povetkin's complaining that the shot was low. I don't think it was low. Trading jabs, both men are. No one really shooting off of that jab, though. Nice jab to the body from Povetkin. Shoots a right hand, and then it gets a left hook to the body. The right doesn't go through, but the left of the body does. Or stiff jab there from Povetkin. Well, uppercut from Dillian. That was a good shot. After some nice bodywork from Povetkin. Impressive bodywork from Povetkin here. The left hook is blocked from Povetkin. Good bodywork there. Most of it's blocked. The left-hand side was blocked. I think the right hand got through. There's that little dip there that I said. The little duck from Dillian. That's nice bodywork though for Dillian in the last 10 seconds or so. Povetkin's coming up. That looked a little bit low though from Dillian. Nice little bit at the end there from Dillian. Nice little charge. I think Povetkin just did enough work though in that round to take that one. Wait, what round is it? That was the 3rd round. Whyte is looking sluggish. He is. He looks very kind of slow and sluggish. I don't know if this is just part of the... He looks quite heavier in terms of muscle. But he looks slower and happy at this pace right now. No, we're in for a fight. No touching gloves there after that round. Thank the Lord game on. Tosh, not a fan of touching the gloves. If you're in here, smash the like and subscribe, as you guys know. Yeah, that was low. That looked low for me. And he got nothing from the referee admonishing it. It was low. Nice. It's not been a boring fight. It's been nice because you just know that something could happen, couldn't it, from either of them? You're just waiting for that explosive shot. So it's quite a nice fight right now. Body shot from Povetkin. Now they're trading. There's a right left hook from Dillian Whyte. Drops Povetkin. The first left hook of the fight. The most telling one. Drops Povetkin. A bit of a flash. He looks okay. He looks fine. Looks absolutely fine. He can't turn around though. But Povetkin gets rocked by a left hook. See what Dillian does here. Does he jump on him or does he just take his time? Looks like he's just taking his time now. Measured from Dillian Whyte here. Not just running in. But this is where the experience comes from Povetkin. In that when he's buzzed, he knows what to do. He knows how to fight. So I don't... Definitely, even though he's been dropped, don't count him out just yet. But that's great. This is going to be a 10-8 round for Dillian if he sees this through. There's a right hand from Povetkin on the gloves of Dillian, but it will still Dillian will still be feeling that one. The left hook to the body comes through for Povetkin. Nice jabs there, double jabs from Dillian. That was called for by Dave Cole. That was a good spot by Dave. Right hand off of a jab. Povetkin walks through it though. Solid shot to the body though from Dillian as well. Yeah, Dillian looking very confident now, isn't he? Just circling around. And he drops Povetkin with an uppercut. Povetkin looks okay still. He looks alright. But he's been dropped again 2 times in this round. Looks fine, but maybe the punch resistance is just gone here now for Povetkin. sees through the round. But yeah, it's a 10-7 round. No one can argue about that round. That was a Dillian Whyte round, and he's made that momentum shift now. Whyte's won that round for sure. Whyte 2 rounds ahead. Did they count it as a knockdown? Yeah, both of those were counted as a knockdown. They were really good shots. I think the second one was an uppercut, I believe. Let's have a look. It's a left hook as opposed to, it kind of comes up. It's sort of like a hybrid-ish uppercut left hook, but whatever it was an absolutely brilliant shot. That was 10-7 round for Dillian Whyte. Right hand from Dillian onto the top of the head of Alexander Povetkin. Povetkin just looking a little bit shy here. Oh! 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 Whoa! Did you saw? Whoa! He's knocked him out! Oh my God! Did you see that? Oh my God! Oh my God, he just knocked him out one shot. Jesus. Fucking hell. What a shot that was. Dude. Oh my God. That's a punch from the gut. Whoa. A class from Povetkin here, straight to Dillian, but what was that? Just a straight uppercut, just shut the lights down. That's Povetkin 101 right there. Wow. 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 You can't say anything like out of nowhere. Wow. Dillian looks just fucking hell. Wow. Boom, boom. Povetkin just knocked out Dillian Whyte. Wow. Tosh, the Boxing Asylum are going to do a pod straight away, so I'll be on there. I'll be in the chat, so make sure you're there. And Magoo, it does straight away. Sorry, I'm just in shock. That was absolutely incredible. What a shot that was. I just want to see a replay. That was crazy. Dillian Whyte just switched off for a moment. Povetkin capitalized straight away, and wow. There it is. Oh my God. What an uppercut. What an uppercut that was. It's crazy. You saw the confidence from Dillian, didn't you, towards the end of that round, right? You saw the confidence, didn't you? Dillian looked like he had a swagger. He was moving around. He was on his feet. And then just to start that round, Christ. Povetkin ducking under the jab. Boom. That jab, that uppercut comes from fucking ground zero and switches off the lights of Dillian Whyte. Incredible. After 2 knockdowns, Alexander Povetkin... This is the experience that he had. We saw it against Michael Hunter. It looked like he's rocked. It looked like he's out. Looked like he might be on the end of a knockout himself. But then he uses all that experience, uses all that, those trade. What was it that thing you said earlier? You said it there earlier yourself. W. Wallace said, 007 said, the Russian ninja gonna pull out some old Soviet trade tricks, KO by Povetkin the 12th. It weren't the 12th, it was what, the 5th, was it? Whatever it was. An old Soviet trick there from the Russian, an old boxing trick there from the Russian. Slips that jab, comes in with an uppercut from out fucking nowhere. The Russian ninja pulls it out of his locker to get the knockout victory over Dillian Whyte. Incredible. You don't count Povetkin out at all. You can't. Like, I thought Dillian Whyte would win, but you just can't do it with Alexander Povetkin in any fight. You put Joshua in there, you put Fury in there, you put whoever it is, you don't count out Povetkin whatsoever. Peach of a shot. Peach. He loves coming over here, doesn't he, Povetkin? He loves coming over, apart from obviously Anthony Joshua, but he had his successes in that fight. But he loves coming over here to Britain. He's got a lot of stock over here. Christ, man. Yeah, listen. Heavyweight division is a great division, and you can't count out White either in any fight. Styles makes fights, and Dillian Whyte will come back again. Oh, bloody hell. Dillian just looks terrible, doesn't he, coming out of that ring. And Al Siesta got it right. Al Siesta told you. Oh, my word. As if Al had it on the button. Don't count out Povetkin because he's an old school operator, and that old school operator smashed someone from the new school here. Oh my god. Sorry for the screaming. I apologise in advance for the screaming, but I did not expect that. Yeah, he's out, bro. He's out. The fight's done. He was done. I think he got up after he got back into consciousness about 30 seconds after, but he was donezo. Absolutely donezo. And that's mad. That's mad because Dillian Whyte landed 2 shots and 2 flash shots on him, and Povetkin went down. And then Povetkin coming out of nowhere with those shots. When's the pod on? Good question. Let me ask Steve. I'll ask Steve for you right now. I'll ask it for you now. I'll just ask Steve. Yeah, sorry guys. Let's get back onto what you're saying. Let's see if, just to make sure everyone knows, Dillian Whyte has been knocked out by Povetkin. Was it the 5th or the 6th or whatever round? Doesn't matter. Knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. Out like a light by an uppercut after slipping a lazy jab and then just pulling an uppercut from the depths of hell. That was below the cameras. That was the depths of hell. Straight through matchroom fucking ground soil. Down from hell, up to the chin of Dillian Whyte. It was out. Uppercut from hell. Forget the gods. Uppercut from fucking hell. That was what that was. Let's see if Sky have the same energy about Fury fighting as a mandatory before AJ fight. No, no chance. No chance at all. And that's it. They had that email from the WBC about Dillian Whyte will be ratified as the official challenger. Now that's gone. WBC he's won the interim now, whatever it is, and the WBC Diamond. Fucking hell, anything can change in a moment. Anthony Joshua there just watching that shit, and he must be like, woo, because that could have been him against taking that shot. He took a shot, didn't he? He took a left hook against Povetkin. He saw the fight out. Fair play to him. But damn. I still do. Need a rematch? I mean, I don't know. Does Dillian even want that? That's the game of boxing, I guess it is. And that was crazy. When's the pod on, mate? A few minutes. I'm going to round out here. Boom, boom. I was half asleep just listening to you. Then you screamed. My heart's still beating fast. Mate, sorry. I'm so sorry. But that just came out fucking nowhere. If you watch wrestling, you know Randy Orton when he does the RKO from out of nowhere, that came from fucking out of nowhere. Jesus Christ. That's the heavyweight division. That's Alexander Povetkin. That's what he brings. Got nothing to say. Got absolutely nothing to say. Just don't ever write out Povetkin 41. Fuck saying Alexander Povetkin is 41, blah, blah, blah. It don't matter. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Alexander Povetkin can knock you out. British memes, do you think that's it for Whyte? Nah, it's not it for Dillian Whyte. In fact, boxing is such a weird sport. Boxing is such a weird sport in that this could make it even easier for Whyte to get fights, because now this is what is... It's his second loss, isn't it, on his record? So boxing's a weird sport that can make a Dillian Whyte fight more appealing because he's been knocked out in this fashion. Let's just see what Povetkin says. Fantastic reaction. I appreciate that. You guys must have been like that as well when you saw that, because that was mad. Unbelievable. Right, I'm going to round up, and then I'm going to head over to the Boxing Asylum YouTube channel and listen to their podcast, as we all should do as well. If you haven't already, check out the Boxing Asylum. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe here. I'm going to just... One sec. I'm just going to message Al right now. I'm going to close out, though. So, Katie Taylor beats Delfine Persoon on unanimous decision. I'm just going to brush over that. I'm going straight into the main event. We thought Dillian Whyte looked a bit sluggish, a bit slow, a bit cumbersome maybe, and that the pace was suiting Povetkin, as Magoo I think said correctly. One of you guys said correctly, the pace was suiting Povetkin, and you were right, the pace was suiting Povetkin. He did though get knocked down twice in one round, both of them flashes, one of them by a left hook and the other I think was more of like a hybrid left hook, whatever it was. He got knocked down twice, flashes, did well to recover and recuperate from that. And at the end of that round, Dillian Whyte was looking nice and confident, feeling himself, looking like he was going to go on and take charge and eventually stop Povetkin. But in the ensuing couple of seconds in the first round, Alexander Povetkin comes up with an uppercut from the depths of hell onto the chin of Dillian Whyte, and there's no need to count anything. There's no need to do anything other than call off the fight, because Dillian Whyte was knocked out, silent, no chances of getting up, and they did that. They waved off the fight. It was done. Dillian Whyte loses to Alexander Povetkin by knockout. An incredible end. An end out of absolutely nowhere. And this is going to be the end of this stream, as I don't even know what to say to you. Thank you so much for joining me. A crazy end. React to this. We'll be reacting to this on Boxing News TV on Monday, live from 9 PM on the channel of Boxing News TV. Me, Steve Wellings from the Boxing Asylum, and Foz Elliott Foster, who's done articles for Boxing Scene and such. So make sure you subscribe to Boxing News TV for that live review on Monday, 9 PM, around 9 PM. And now head over to to the Boxing Asylum YouTube channel, where they'll be running over the pod and reacting to that as well. So I'll be seeing you on the next video for this. This has been crazy. Crazy end. Alexander Povetkin gets one more chance at probably heavyweight honours. I'll see you on the next video. Thank you so much to Tosh, British Memes, Boom Boom, Magoo83, W Wallace 0071. Who else is in here? Dara Korean, Jack Turf, and Last King of Scotland. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you on the next one. And Tosh, see you later in a bit. Not the end of Dillian Whyte for sure.